How's it going, everybody? The PlayStation Store is running its Big Games Big Deal sale as well as its Tokyo Game Show sale. Want to go over some of the games that are a little bit more expensive, but still great deals all around. So definitely want to cover some of this stuff. Again, more expensive stuff, so, you know, if your wallet can't handle it, maybe wait until Black Friday. And some of these games, I would imagine, by Black Friday are going to get cheaper, so that might be something to consider before you pick anything up too expensive. But first of all, we have a Plateau Requiem, which is 40% off for $36. Now, this game is incredibly narrative-driven, so obviously, play A Plague Tale Innocence first. That is the first game in the franchise, and these games are so good from a technical standpoint. They are visually incredibly impressive, especially Requiem. Innocence was a PS4 game that does have a PS5 upgrade. That game looks good as well. Very dark from an ambiance and a tone standpoint, so if you're looking for something jovial, Plague Tale probably ain't the game for you, but the main character is great. The whole story dynamic is really, really well done. There are some gameplay elements that don't hit home with me, but I think for $36, if you're looking for something impactful from a story standpoint, you're gonna get something quite good with A Plague Tale Requiem, so would strongly recommend that. Next up, we have Sonic Frontiers, which is 50% off for $29.99. This is a game that I constantly go to bat for, and let's be honest, if you are a fan of Sonic games, you take what you can get in terms of quality games. Sometimes, if you're a Sonic fan, you kind of rank the 7s as a 9, and that's because we're so used to, you know, eating a crappy sandwich and liking the taste of it, so to speak. But with Sonic Frontiers, I legitimately thought it was a really, really well done game. I thought the exploration was great, the soundtrack was fantastic, gameplay is solid, although I know the big deterring factor of this game was the combat. The combat definitely could have used some work, and it could have been refined a little bit more, but hopefully they do that when they eventually do a sequel. But yeah, $30 for Sonic Frontiers, think that's a great price and definitely would give it a shot. There is a 1-hour trial for the game on Plus Premium, and Plague Tale Requiem has a 2-hour trial. Next up, we have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Not a deep discount on this, but 30% off for $35. I think now that we're heading into the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as some of you guys want me to call it, it's time that a lot of you guys do play Crisis Core FF7 Reunion. Now, I do imagine that this game is going to get added to Plus Extra at some point just because of Square Enix's relationship with Sony. It seems like that is something that they're going to do. Crisis Core is a really good game. Zack is one of the most likable Final Fantasy characters of all time. I mean, he's just beloved within the Final Fantasy community. And Crisis Core, just do keep in mind it was initially a PSP game. They do what they can to bring it up to speed with a modern audience, and there are some refinements that are quite good, especially with some of the changes with the DMW. It just makes battles feel a little bit smoother, but at the end of the day, it's a PSP game that is also relatively short. Like, you can beat the main story of this game in probably 15 to 17 hours. Like, it's that time period and that length that you can complete this game. There's optional content and things of that nature, but still a great game. Soundtrack is great. $35, I think, is a solid pickup. Next up, some Resident Evil titles. Resident Evil Village Gold Edition is 40% off for $30. This includes the base game, the Winter's Expansion, the Trauma Pack, the VR mode, and Resident Evil Reverse. All of that for $30, which I think is pretty good, given that you do get the expansion. Village is a great game, one of my favorite games of 2021. Would strongly recommend it, and would say that it is a really, really good buy. So $30 for Resident Evil Village, definitely would give that a shout at that price point. Next up, another Resident Evil title, Resident Evil 4 Remake, obviously has to get a mention. This is one of my favorite games of 2023. Quite possibly number one. It's really like, you know, this, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Final Fantasy 16's in the mix as well. But RE4 was on a different level as far as the Resident Evil remakes go. I thought this game was tremendous, and I loved Resident Evil 4 back in the day. Maybe it made me like this even more given how good of a job they did on the remake. Yes, it's not a super lengthy game. Resident Evil is never going to be that, but it is a replayable game. And even if you do take your time, like, you can get a solid 16, 17 hours out of the campaign with this. And again, very replayable. $39.59, still kind of hefty at a price point, but man, the game is so good that I would give it a shout. Obviously, Separate Ways out later this week. In fact, by the time you guys are watching this video, it might already be out. But yeah, RE4, $39.59, great price on that. Next up, another Capcom title, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. This includes both Volume 1 and 2. I grew up with Battle Network Legacy, or excuse me, Battle Network. So obviously, I'm gonna be a little bit more biased towards this, but this gives you all of the Battle Network titles. Battle Network 1, Battle Network 2, and with Battle Network 3, you have have the different variations, the Pokemon gimmick, and they give you all of those versions as well. Do note that Battle Network 1, which is the starting point, which a lot of people are going to start with, absolutely shows its age in such a crazy way. That game is so dated. It's still, you know, it lays the foundation for what Battle Network would become, but Battle Network 2 is when this franchise really gets going and starts hitting where it does eventually go. Battle Network 3 is good. I know Battle Network 4, a lot of people didn't like that one. I liked the various forms and whatnot with Red Sun and Blue Moon. Battle Network 5 I thought was really good, and Battle Network 6 I thought was really good. So the amount of content you get for $39.59 is really solid. These are GBA games, so obviously you're not expecting anything technically blow away, but love me some Battle Network. Capcom, I know this game did well commercially. It is time for a Battle Network 7. Give me what I want. I mean, dude, it's not like you need a big team attached to a Battle Network 7 or a new Mega Man game. Like, I don't know why. It's just the collections that we keep getting in, like, X-Dive offline. Like, let me get a Battle Network 7. What do I gotta do? But nonetheless, I'm doing my part in telling you guys to go buy this. $39.59, good price on that. Next up, One Piece Odyssey, 50% off for $29.99. This is the base game. Unfortunately, the deluxe edition is not on sale. I'm not a One Piece guy, but I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was a well-made turn-based JRPG, a lengthy game as well, 30 to 40 hours. I think if you're a One Piece fan, you're going to enjoy it a lot more because the shtick of the game is you go back and redo, like, you know, iconic parts of One Piece and iconic battles, and they're varied up a little bit. You guys know me. I'm not watching, like, 1,000 episodes or whatever it is. I ain't even going to watch the 8 episodes on Netflix. I don't care if it got renewed for a season 2, but I did play One Piece Odyssey and had a great time with it, and if you didn't want to spend $60, $30 I think is a really solid price. Even if you're not a One Piece fan, this might be a JRPG that surprises you. And like, I'm a big fan of Chopper. Like, Chopper getting jacked is the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Obviously a little bit of a hyperbole, a stretch there, but yeah, Chopper getting jacked is just a humorous to me. Soul Hackers 2, 60% off for $24. Really enjoyed Soul Hackers 2. Great main character, great story. Turn-based gameplay is fairly solid. Soundtrack is excellent. Listen to the boss battle theme of this song, and I think you guys will immediately be sold on this game just based on that. They do have the digital premium edition on sale. There's a bonus story arc, The Lost Numbers, so, you know, if you do want to check that out, that is an option. But yeah, enjoyed Soul Hackers 2 quite a bit. One of those JRPGs that went a little under the radar. And speaking of JRPGs that went under the radar, Live Alive is 30% off for $35. Man, I really enjoyed this game. So you go through a lot of different time periods with these various characters that are smaller story arcs, and some of them feature some gameplay variances and whatnot. But it's a well-made game that comes together really nicely. Definitely a throwback. Obviously, it's like a remake of, I believe, a Super Famicom title that is in that HD 2D style. Looks really good if you're into that. $35, good price on that. And lastly, Dying Light 2 Stay Human is 50% off for $29.99. Now, let's be real. $30 is a good price for this game. I really enjoyed Dying Light 2, not as much as Dying Light 1. But what you have to be concerned about is that this game is going to get a ton of bonus content. The Ultimate Edition is on sale, but that's $70. You don't want to spend $70 on that. At some point, you know, years down the line, there's going to come a time where there's like a Dying Light 2 Ultimate Edition, Complete Edition that's like $10 on sale. So if you do want to wait for that, that is something to consider. Otherwise, if you don't want to wait 8 years, let's be real, it'll probably be like 3 years until that happens. But yeah, if you don't want to wait that long, Dying Light 2 Stay Human for $30, great price there. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a ton of great deals available right now across the board, across a wide variety of genres. These obviously a little bit more on the pricier side, but still worthwhile to give a mention. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.